Let's take a look at our Intro to Woodworking table project for a more in-depth look at the joinery we're using in this class. So the first one is the simplest, which is to create an edge joint, making a panel out of these two narrower boards for our tabletop. And this joint's a very simple joint, but it does require a lot of precision. These edges have to be perfectly jointed in order to come together in a seamless way. And when they do, with glue and pressure from clamping, this joint becomes very strong. In fact, it's stronger than the surrounding wood. So we connect those two pieces in an edge joint and we end up with our tabletop. So here's a finished version. You can see the seam here on the underside, but on the top, this person did a really great job of blending these two pieces to make them look like one panel. So while this joint is mainly about strength and making large panels, it's also an aesthetic challenge where you want to create the illusion of one large piece of wood. The joinery used in the rest of the table for the legs and crossbars is a little more complicated, and let's take a look at that. So here's a leg assembly from that project. We've got the two legs connecting this crossbar. The connection that we're using is a bridle joint. The bridle joint consists of a tenon, which is like a tab that goes into this mortise, which is a slot. And one of the things you can immediately see about this is we're creating with the bridle joint a lot of surface area. Think of this as a supercharged half lap. You know, a half lap, we're just basically overlapping two pieces. We create two surfaces that join the long grain. In the bridle joint, we're actually getting double that because we've created two faces on the tenon and two faces in the mortise. And when those come together, we have twice as much strength as a traditional half lap. So the great thing about this is making a bridle joint isn't really that hard. It's not as hard as a mortise and tenon, and it's only a little bit harder than a half lap. So if you've got a project that requires that extra strength, like a table, then a bridle joint's a great choice. All right, let's look at how these crossbars work. The crossbars come together with what looks like a half lap joint. The two pieces slot together. And like I said, it looks like a half lap, but it's actually, we call it a cross lap because these pieces are vertical instead of flat against each other, you know, like that. So this is not necessarily a super strong joint. If we look at what's going on in here, we've got basically only one of these three surfaces is long grain, this bottom one. So we could glue that, but these other two are end grain, so they're not going to be a very strong joint. What this joint does have going for it, though, is mechanical strength. And this is one of the things in joinery that after glue surface area is really important. If you can create also mechanical resistance to your joint coming apart, then that's even better. And so that's how dovetails work, and these type of cross laps and many other joints as well.